How much is a boudoir photo shoot? One question that any business gets asked all the time, for obvious reasons, how much does it cost? Cost is really determined by value. So how much is one person spending versus what they are receiving? So when you reach out to a photographer and ask how much they cost, they're going to give you a number that may or may not be comparable to what you get from other photographers because you don't know what you're getting for that same dollar amount. So I'm going to walk you through the different price ranges you could expect from a photographer and why they would charge those things with these 5 things to look out for when choosing your photographer at any price point. And number 5 is my favorite. I don't want to say it's the most important, but it kind of ties everything together. So do not skip out early. Number 5, you're not going to want to miss that one.
It's showtime.
Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd, and I have been a professional photographer here in Silicon Valley for the last 12 years. And I don't know if I got lucky or if I just figured things out the right way the first time, but I started charging the prices that I charge about 10 years ago, and I really haven't changed much because the system works for me. And I get clients who love what I do, and I get to live a comfortable lifestyle. And I think that's a win. That's why I started this whole business in the first place. So I'm going to give you my 5 tips to choosing your photographer based on price and some prices to expect when asking your boudoir photographer how much do they cost. So firstly, how comfortable do you feel with the process? Number 2, how do they pose you? Number 3, what about hair and makeup? Number 4, how do you receive the photos? And number 5, would it all be worth it if you never received the photos? I know that sounds weird, but trust me, stick around till the end. It's totally going to tie this all together. So firstly, let's talk numbers. You can get a boudoir photographer for $100 off Craigslist or some Facebook group. You could spend $10,000 or you could spend $20,000. There is a whole spectrum of different things that people are offering. You might be like, well, how can one person charge $100 and one person charge $10,000 for the same thing? Because they're not the same thing. It's just like going through the McDonald's drive-thru is getting food, arguably, or going to a fine dining steakhouse. They're both technically food, but they're not the same experience. They're not the same product. That is also how you should look at photographers. You can go to any McDonald's in the country and get the same product. You can go to different mom and pop restaurants and everything is cooked a little bit differently because you have somebody's artistic flair on it. It's not about how much they can replicate it or how stripped down everything they could be. It's about adding personality. That's what photography is like. We're artists, we're people. We inject our soul into our work and our personalities into the experience. That's what you're getting. So, firstly, how comfortable do you feel during the photo shoot? If you call up a photographer and they're like, hey, I'm available tomorrow for your shoot. See you then. And you're like, cool, what do I wear? What's the address? When do I show up? What do I need to wear to the shoot? If you're not prepared for the photo shoot, you probably have an inexperienced photographer and it's going to cost you less money. So this is one of those things, you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but you're going to go into the experience feeling prepared. They'll have a guide for you. They'll tell you when to wash your hair, how to do your makeup the day of the shoot, or how to not do your makeup the day of the shoot, which is a thing. If they have a stylist on board, they'll tell you how to pick out your outfits. They'll probably have a steamer in the studio in case your stuff is wrinkled. They will guide you through the whole process, start to finish. It will be new to you, but there shouldn't really be any guesswork. That is the sign of a professional, and you're going to pay a little bit more for that. The second one is posing guidance. If you've ever been in front of somebody's camera and they're like, cool, just, be yourself. And you're like, but myself is awkward in front of a camera. I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do with my hands, right? That is the value of a professional photographer. We know how to pose people in a flattering way. Like, not really into your stomach? Cool, I got 1,000 poses that can hide your stomach. Don't like your arms? Cool, I got you covered. Or, maternity photo shoot, we want to show off the belly? Oh yeah. And we don't have to just do the cheeseball heart over the belly pose. I refuse to do that one. There's so many other beautiful things that we can do. That is the value of having a legitimate professional photographer. Now, when I keep saying having a legit photographer, if it's not in your budget, I'm not knocking them. Everyone is at a different level. We've all started in different places. We all want to do different things. So, like I said, it will cost as much or as little as you want. If you want posing guidance, you're going to pay a little bit more for it. And if you're cool with just winging it, that's great too. You can get a lower budget photographer. That's the cool thing about this. Like I said, there is a photographer for everyone's price point. I'm just explaining what you get at those different price points. So with the posing guidance, it goes so much farther beyond like looking skinny, if you will, because our goal isn't to make people look skinny. Our goal is to make you look like the best version of you, and different body types, different ability levels. I have clients with injuries who just can't do certain poses, but I know enough poses. I literally have a book out on posing boudoir photography. I know what I'm doing, so I can guide anyone in any situation through more than enough poses to get through a photo shoot. And that's why I charge what I do, because I've done this so many times. I can guarantee those results every single time. But when I was learning the first couple of years, I wasn't at that point yet. That's the difference in the price. All right, hair and makeup. This one to me is a no-brainer, because photo makeup is not the same as going out makeup. So maybe you do a really good job of doing your makeup before you go out for dinner with your girlfriends. That is not the same as photo makeup. It's almost not even gonna show up in the photos if that's the level of makeup you do. It's almost to the point of stage makeup. But if you've been married and you've seen how the makeup artist did your makeup on wedding day, it probably felt really heavy. You're like, I'm a clown now. Why do I have so much makeup on my face? But then it looks normal in the photos. That is one of the reasons that I require hair and makeup in my photo shoots. My stylist is here. It's a non-negotiable. We do your hair and makeup. Same thing with hair, because she has every kind of product and 20 years experience knowing how to work with different kinds of hair. So whether you want it straight or wavy or curly, you want victory curls, you want everything back, you want it messy, loose, beachy hair, whatever you want, we can do that. And that is the value of having an incredible stylist. They also cost money. So I can make sure that you're looking like your best self in the photos by having professional hair and makeup there. Also, my stylist sticks around for the whole shoot. So any kind of touch-ups that you need, we can, start with a more basic look, and then we can go with a smoky eye and mess up your hair later on in the shoot to get a little more rock and roll. Whatever you want to do, having that stylist there will get it done very quickly and effectively. Also, having an assistant in the room makes a huge difference for me. Like, as a straight male boudoir photographer, I always want to have another woman in the room present just for the comfort of my client. And if you need a strap to be adjusted, I'm not going to go touch your bra strap, but my female assistant will. That's a non-negotiable for me. I won't do it. So having somebody else present is already going to be a thing. Might as well be my stylist who's here to do your hair and makeup also. Plus, the hair and makeup is a good warm-up period. This is a thing that gets often overlooked. We sit here for an hour and a half and we just chat while you get your hair and makeup done. You get to relax, have a glass of champagne or bubbly water. We put music on and you just hang out and talk. There's no emails, there's no kids, there's no work, there's no anything. You just get to relax. And that is a huge part of the experience. Why so many of my clients love this experience. So that's why we provide hair and makeup. It costs more, so we charge more. All right, number 4, how do you receive the photos? There's a ton of different ways we could do this. We could do image folios and wall art, digital packages as well. There's a ton of different things we can do with the photos. You need to ask your photographer, how am I going to receive the photos after the shoot? If they're just going to send you a bunch of unedited images on a Google Drive or a thumb drive or something, cool. Know what you're getting. If you have somebody who's going to retouch everything, guide you through the process of choosing your favorites and how you want to print them on gorgeous metal prints or handmade Italian leather albums, like that's an entirely different experience. Are you just getting some photos to put up on Instagram, or do you want an heirloom that's going to outlive you? These are questions that we may not know to ask, which is why we have to ask our photographer, how will I receive the photos? And you may think, I just want a couple digital images, something to share on Facebook, to give to my partner when they're at work, something like that, and that's totally cool. But there might be options that you don't know about, like the curved metal prints that I do, or the different kinds of albums. They're not just these like Snapfish coffee table books. I mean, these are legit art pieces. So when you see these things, you're like, this is legit. Didn't realize I need this. let's do it. That will obviously affect your cost. The more images you get and the fancier the presentation, the more it's going to cost you. But again, there's someone out there for every different budget. So you may not get the products that you want right away, but you can still get the experience or get some cool photos and then save up for it later. Photographers might also offer payment plans, so you can split up your payment over several months if you want to do that. Work it out with your photographer. All right, and lastly, number 5, and this was the weird one I told you about, would it still be worth it if you never got any of your photos? You're like, well, I paid them to give me photos. Why would I think it's worth it if I never got any photos? Because this experience is so much more than the photos. Some photographers will just do a photo shoot with you and give you the photos, and that's that. But when you get up into the higher tier of photographers, and maybe you've gone past the $500 range, the $1,000 range, the $1,500 range. Now we're up into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range for photographers and above there. The experience alone should feel worth it for you without receiving any of the photos. Obviously, you're going to get photos, but the experience should be so transformative, and you should feel so good about yourself after seeing the photos and after doing the experience that if you walked away with nothing in your hands, it would still feel good. I didn't realize that was the thing until my clients started telling me that, which totally blew my mind. I can't tell you how many times I've had referrals that call me up in an afternoon. They're like, hey, my friend just did a shoot with you, told me I need to book with you. How soon can I get in? And I'm like, she hasn't even seen the photos yet. What if they're not good? But of course they're going to be good. But that's what was going on in my brain. But she had such an incredible time. And it's not just that we have fun, but we've created an environment here for our clients to check everything else at the door and just be themselves in the studio. You can wear whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can be you in here. And that's a very liberating experience when you haven't had that opportunity in years. A lot of our clients work in healthcare. They're teachers, they're mothers, and they're always taking care of other people. They're always putting somebody else's needs first. They are never considering themselves. So for the opportunity to come in here, have a glass of wine, get their hair and makeup done, and feel pretty. And, we show the back of the camera throughout the shoot. They've seen the photos, and they're just encouraged. They're told how great they're doing, how beautiful they are, because you are. At the end of that 3 hours, you can't help but feel good about yourself. That is really what we do here. The photos are the souvenir to remind you, every time you look at them, how incredible you felt that day and how worthy you are of feeling that good every day. That's what you're really getting from us. So again, if $500 is in your budget, you can find a photographer for that. If $5,000 is in your budget, you can find a photographer for that. Anywhere in between. But ask these 5 questions. How are they going to help you prepare so you don't feel awkward at the shoot? What kind of posing guidance do they give you? Is hair and makeup included? How will you receive the photos? And then what is included in the experience? What should you expect to feel at the end of it? That's how you're going to find the right photographer for you based on your budget. Because again, price is irrelevant without knowing what you're actually getting. If you are curious about getting in front of my camera, I would love to chat with you about putting together a photo shoot. You can learn more about it at MikeLloydStudios.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. You are amazing. See you inside.